Morning, First Baptist. This is Pastor Brad Stahl, along with our mayor, Mayor Tubbs, Michael Tubbs. Just wanted to ask him a few questions, be able to pray with him as well at the end of this time, to see what our city is doing and how he is handling things. And Mayor Tubbs, thank you so much for agreeing to talk and share. You have a number of people from First Baptist who are going to be praying for you and the leadership here at City Hall. And so first and foremost, what are you and the city doing to help perhaps churches continue to get the message out and to help our city and the people of Stockton as well with the next steps in this pandemic?
Information sharing is incredibly important. So for those of you who want to be up to date on what's happening, please go to stocktonca.gov/updates. And then you have all the updates in terms of the actions the city is taking. In addition, there's a community-led effort called StocktonStrong.org, which has resources for people, because we realize that first there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of information. So I want to dispel any myths that the coronavirus is here in this community, and it's serious, that Stockton has a higher rate of asthma, a higher rate of diabetes in the state and in the nation. And folks with those conditions are more susceptible to have a fatality as a result of coronavirus. Also, folks 65 and older are more at risk for this. So even if you don't show symptoms, even if you're not sick, even if you're not coughing, that doesn't mean you don't have the virus. And it's important for us to follow, as the word says, that the directives of our governor and others in terms of staying at home, leaving only when necessary, and doing the things y'all are doing with the live streaming of services, because that's the only way we'll get through is together. In terms of supporting small businesses, all of our favorite restaurants and dineries in the city are not completely closed. We just can't eat in, but we can go to pickup, we can do delivery, and please make sure you tip your DoorDashers and you tip your Instacart people and you tip the restaurants when you go. And then we all have to, I think I said this at the council meeting, but this is not fun for anybody. It's tough. It's different, it's unprecedented, and the only way we'll do it is we do it together. That it's not enough for just one person to be inside except for non-essential travel. It's not enough for one church to do live streaming, but every church and every person has to do their part. And lastly, I'll say pray for your first responders, your nurses, your doctors, but also your grocery store workers. You're also the folks at the gas station, also all the folks at the restaurants, because these folks are continuing to work and produce and provide the things we need while the rest of us are able to work from home.
We know we're doing things differently at First Baptist as well. We're live streaming on a really stripped down basis, but that allows us to continue to get the message of hope out to the city of Stockton. So I know you're a man of faith as well. Give us a word of encouragement from where your faith brings you at this point in time.
I'll confess, like last week I looked at my wife and I said, this is not fun being married now. Like this is not like God really like now. Like this is what we have to work on for the next couple of months. And so I feel the same kind of worries and doubts and fears as everyone else. But I also understand the importance of faith. And faith really, the biggest declaration of faith is actually doing things to make a difference. And I think if we all follow the directives and do what we can do, then we'll emerge from this crisis stronger together. Maybe a little more giving, maybe a little more generous, maybe a little more grateful. Last thing, I think it's in Philippians when Paul talks about like, I've learned to be content or happy with a lot and with a little, with all the freedom of movement and with limited movement, in sickness and in health. And I think particularly for people of faith, that's the challenge for us today. Like, can we still be content? Can we still be happy? Can we still be joyful? Can we still be loving? In circumstances that make it hard, and can you still be loving in close quarters with your partner while you're both working from home with your kid? So it's going to be a test for all of us, but I'm sure we could get through it together.
You know, Pastor Daniel and I, who's filming this here today, just came from our church where we have a food distribution center. And Bread of Life brought that down to our parking lot, and we have delivery people. Our deacons, our leaders in the church have said, we'll serve, we'll deliver to door to the elderly. Are there other things right now specifically that we can do? And let me just say, First Baptist Church is available to you and to the city, whether it be drive-through testing in the parking lot or other things like that. We want to make our church available. Are there things that we can be opening the door to or that you can utilize even now?
100%. I think the work you guys are continuing to do is so important, and because this crisis is just emerging, I'm sure tomorrow, next week, the week after, there'll be some unanticipated needs. So just being able, always ready and agile. What this crisis has really put in focus, at least for me, is that it's the people we oftentimes forget about that are the most at risk today. And I wish we had a database of all the seniors so we could make sure they're eating, but we don't because it wasn't a priority for anyone. Or I wish, there's a lot of things I'm seeing now, like, man, we should have this. So a lot of lessons to be learned, but we appreciate your guys' help.
We already have people mobilized to be prayer warriors. In fact, we already have 100 people who are going to be fasting and praying this weekend, praying for our world leaders, praying for our country's leader, praying for you specifically as well. How can we as a church, because now we come together with some 1,500 to 2,000 people, how can we all be praying for you as the mayor and then personally as Michael Tubbs?
Yeah, I think for me as the mayor, I think prayer for patience, frustration tolerance, and just for clarity, because I think it's, while still working on the issue, I have a grandmother who's over, and a grandfather who both are over 65. I have a 5-month-old son. I have so just navigating family and normal stuff with the addition of figuring out how to make sure the seed's in the right place. I think prayers for creativity as well, because this is a new problem. There's no handbook. There's no manual as how to do this. And I also think that it's prayer for all the city leaders. So for me, but also for our police chief, our fire chief, our first responders, our city council, our county, because there's so many people who are involved in this. Our board of supervisors, our public health officer, like all the folks who have been entrusted with authority in this situation, a real prayer for continuity and unity of vision, so we're all moving in the same direction. And also for government leaders and nonprofits and churches to come up with ways to help during that time. All that will be super, super helpful, and I think that coupled with the actions you guys are doing, which is what I appreciate. I love a church that prays and does, and I know you guys do, so thank you from the bottom of my heart.